Welcome to the Obesity Medicine Podcast with your host, Dr. Matea Rentia, board certified in internal medicine and obesity medicine. Here, we talk about a path to metabolic health, and we have real conversations about chronic weight management and living a full life. Just a reminder, I am a physician, but I'm not your physician. So everything that's on this podcast is for informational purposes, but please go talk to your doctor about what's right for you. There is no medical advice being given on this podcast. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. How are you all doing? I am finally back in the groove. I'm back. It only took me 3 weeks to get fully into my regular routines and feeling like I'm actually making progress. You know what? That's not bad because I'm never someone that's like January 1st, new goal, new me. I'm always working on stuff year round. So anyway, I'm excited to be feeling better. Right now, we're heading into the third week in 30-30. And friends, can I tell you, the group is incredible. The women that are in this round of 30-30, the wins that they share, what they're doing, I just cannot ask for better women that are joining. And I've said this before, but I always have the largest fat loss times when I'm in an active 30-30 round. And I know I'm the one running it, but being in that environment where people are planning things and doing things and trialing things and they're staying in that energy, which keeps you in it as well, it is so powerful. I'm almost mourning when that program end of February is going to be done because I'm thinking, oh my gosh, there's not the April round, which of course it made sense because I have the 30-30 retreat, the Beyond the Scale, that retreat in Indianapolis in April. So that makes sense because I really like to fully give attention to what I'm doing, but I'm realizing, gosh, do I love our community. I'm thinking I will look forward to September even more. So that's the next one. Oh, and just a little bit of an kind of forecasting on that. Because I think this far in advance. In January, I think about September. That round, I'm going to do a few changes. Every round, something changes. I'm going to change it from 6 weeks to 12 weeks because what I've noticed is that the program is so quick, it flies by so quickly that sometimes you just need more weeks to work on things and to process things and to go through things. So I think that will be really helpful. So right now we have 2 calls. We have a Sunday morning planning reset. It's not too early. If you're Eastern, it's 11, but depending on if you're PST, that can be a lot earlier. And then we have a Thursday evening group call. And what I noticed with Thursday is everyone's tired, they're exhausted. And so I just figured it would be easier if we did 12 weeks, we did 3 months. We're doing the Sunday calls that work for everyone. We're still going to have a lot of those additional calls, but it just won't be so overwhelming per week where every single week there's 2 to 3 calls because it's just a lot for everybody. And so I think that longer time, not having so much intensity, I think that's going to be nice. Again, if you have any thoughts on that, let me know. I'm still in the planning stages of all of that, but I'm really looking forward to that. Okay, so I want to get today, I'm going to answer, I think, 2 questions. I get a lot of questions that get submitted for the podcast. Just a reminder, the platform that I host my podcast on, they call it fan mail where you can submit a question. I would never call it that. But if you submit a question, it is anonymous. So unless you leave an email, we have no way to get back to you. I love getting the messages from all of you, and I try here and there to answer these questions on the podcast. So let's go over 2 today. The first one is, I'm on Zepbound for 5 weeks. Is it normal to have dry lips and skin? I feel dry all the time, inside and out, no matter how much water I'm having. Is this normal? So my first response, again, not giving medical advice, but just what I see in my clinic, I do not see this. So this is not something that I commonly see. Dry skin, I think about, is there anything that changed that season for you? I'm here in the Midwest. A lot of people, they're not using air humidifiers. They're not moisturizing. They're not doing things differently in the winter compared to the summertime. Now, I do see that you live in Florida, so I had to eliminate that. But I would first look for things like that. I would be seeing your doctor, making sure that labs are okay. I would be looking for new detergents. What can be contributing to the skin symptoms that are occurring? Now, the other thing that I want to say here is, while I don't see that, what I do see at times are something called allodynia, which is you have random patches in your skin that are very sensitive to touch. And they tend to come on randomly and they go away anywhere from a few days to a week or 2. So it'll be, for example, like I've had it on the back of my forearm, this little patch where it was like, ooh, it's just like if you touch it, it really hurts. but it goes away after a period. And we don't know what causes that because we don't have it linked to a deficiency. It's not like it occurs right when you started. It's not a certain set time period. So those sensitive nerve areas, I do hear that. But again, always talk to your doctor because there are some things that are more important than others. So we want to make sure we're not missing that. The allodynia, those sensitive nerve patches, I do hear that. The skin having those that increased pain sensation, but that goes away. But I'm not hearing it with dry skin. The next question here, this is really a multi-parter, and I'm going to try to summarize this, but I have a lot to say on this. So this person is saying they love the podcast. They're looking for some advice. So they've been on a GLP-1 for almost 2 years. They're on Mounjaro, which again, same thing, Zepbound, tirzepatide, 15 milligram. And they'll admit, they say they didn't put in a lot of effort initially, but the weight just seemed to fall off. They lost about 50 in that period. But then the past year, they've struggled. They say it didn't move at all. And then they say, well, to be honest, my weight has gone down, but my size hasn't changed as I would have liked. They're trying things like increasing protein and drinking water and they're not exercising. And then they're saying, well, I think I have another 20-25 before I reach an average weight. They're giving me stats on being 57 years old, height, weight, all that kind of stuff. And they're asking for thoughts on this. What could help at a stall, things like that. Okay, here's the thing. Let's start with some basics. Number one, you need to have gratitude for how far you've come. If you've lost 50 pounds, that is a massive amount of weight. It's massive. And I know that we all always are only focused on the thing that then is still coming in the future, but I would do the math on what percentage that is for you, the 50. Also, we need to redefine success in not just the scale moving, but other things happening as well. Are labs improving? Is your sleep improving? What other areas are you more active? What other things are happening in your life that we can quantify as a success? And the reason we need to look for this, it's that you getting in more protein and hydration, that is something improving. Your body's getting healthier because of that. Likely when you're getting in more protein and hydration, things like that, maybe your ultra processed food went down. So I want you to start to be a little bit more expansive as far as what you're seeing with success. The other thing I want to know is, how do you know that you have another 20-25 pounds to go? You say then I would be a quote unquote average weight. So I'm assuming that you mean by that mid-range normal BMI, and BMI is just trash. If you don't have a body composition where you know pounds of body fat, pounds of skeletal muscle, I can't do anything with that. It's kind of like, I don't even know if you have more weight to lose. I know nothing. You are flying blind when you don't know this stuff. So I would look into that and then see that you are actually not only tracking things that matter more than just the net number on the scale, but also that you get a little bit more diverse as far as what you're thinking. Right out the bat, whenever someone is maintaining, let's say that your weight really hadn't moved in several months and you're doing all the things, what I look for is what's the lowest hanging fruit of something that we can change. You said yourself, hey, I'm not exercising and I could start to do that. I would say, yeah, let's jump on that. So we know from the data that exercise does not lead to a bunch of weight loss. Now, a lot of you are going to say, but Matea, the minute I started to exercise, I started losing weight. Here's what's happening when you're exercising. Number one, you're keeping things like your skeletal muscle, right? Your heart health is improving. There's so many things that are happening. But what is very important when you are moving is that you become more creative with your thinking. You have more emotional resilience usually because you're processing things. There is a lot mentally and emotionally that is occurring when you exercise. So you need to do this because I don't know how you are emptying your stress bucket without moving. As humans, we are made to move. If we can't move because of disability or other reasons, that is a whole different story. But if we are physically capable, I want you moving. And so I would look at what's the version where I don't have to go out and buy any equipment, any bands, join a gym. I don't need to do any of that. Today, what is possible for me? So most people, if you're able to, can you walk back and forth a few times? Can you do some wall push-ups? You can find a bunch of videos on YouTube or TikTok where there's no equipment, beginner exercises. And you start there and you start to build on that. But at the end of the day, I'd love you moving most days of the week. If you look at the Sports Medicine Society recommendations, they're going to say 30 minutes, at least 5 times a week. It's not enough. It's not enough. Now, I want to get you moving in general. If you're doing nothing, let's start with 5 minutes a few times a week. But eventually, I want you moving every single day. And I don't care if it's walking. We need you intentionally moving. And I need some strength training happening. I would definitely be bringing that in and redefining what success is. And if things are truly not moving and you feel like I'm getting this protein, I've decreased ultra processed food, I'm getting in my fiber, you're doing all these things, hydrating, sleep, stress down, all that kind of stuff, then I would talk to your doctor, because are your urges and cravings up? Is your hunger up? What physiologically is going on? I was listening to a podcast the other day. A lot of the time, the podcast that I listen to, they talk about childhood obesity. This mother was saying, my child emotionally eats and they're making everything sound like the child is picking what they're doing. And then the doctor said, well, maybe, maybe not. You know what it made me think of? Everything is organic until proven otherwise. So that's a concept in medicine where I am always going to look for the physiological reasons before I sit there and tell you it's a mental health issue. Always. Same thing with this scenario. Instead of taking this on that my body can't lose the weight or I'm not making progress as quickly, things like that, has it been checked out recently? This is not a one and done. This is not, oh, I got on the med and now magically everything's supposed to happen. It's amazing that first part worked out for you, but now might be the part where you need to maybe get labs done again. You need to have different strategies, different things need to happen. That's okay. This is part of the journey. You for life are going to have to be changing things and figuring it out. And I love the fact that coming in the future, we have medications that are targeting many different pathways. So that's really encouraging, because I know that there are many different reasons why people are struggling with this. And it's going to be really great to be able to get a little bit more customized with that and have more options. But right now, I would start with, I'm going to become a person who always figures this out and loves the journey. I'm not going to be waiting to the end. That is really what I wanted to talk about today. Something that I have not talked about before is that some of you sometimes are wanting to work with me, but you don't live in Indiana or Illinois, so you can't be my patient. But you want to go over a body composition report, you want to talk to me about nutrition, things like that. I don't have a one-to-one program. I just have a few spots at a time, but it's called the Body Intelligence Blueprint. And this is a 3-month period where you work with me. Before ever even seeing me, you're going to get your genome mental health map done, do a body composition, do a 2-week nutrition log. So you're going to have a bunch of data. And then we're going to meet once a month for 3 months. And we're going to go over strategies for you. This is not medical advice that's occurring in those visits, but there's a lot of education that can occur. And some of you are really wanting that. So I wanted to just let you know about that. I will put the link to that down below. When the spots are gone, we just turn it to waitlist. So don't worry if when you get on it says, hey, this is a waitlist. We won't let someone sign up unless I'm right away able to work with you. Someone that contacted me recently and joined that one-on-one, they said, well, can you see me right now? And the answer, if you're able to register, is yes. But if it goes to waitlist, no, not at that moment, because I'm not going to take you into a program if I couldn't see you in a week or two, right? So I just wanted to put that out there. If that's something that you're looking for, we'll have the link down in the show notes. I hope you have an amazing rest of the week, and we'll talk soon. That marks the end of today's episode. But if you're newer to the podcast, I want to tell you about something that we have, and it's a free podcast roadmap. So this is perfect for any of you that are listening where you want to be directed to very specific episodes. So let's say that you are just starting out and you want to know, what should I do right when I start on the medications? Or you're experiencing certain side effects on the GLP-1s, or you want to know what to do if you're in a plateau, or if emotional eating is taking over, or if hunger levels are high. So we have many different categories of episodes that we've talked about, because there's a lot at this point. So if you want to be able to navigate that very easily, we have it broken down by category, and also the episodes that are there, and we hyperlink to everything. So you can just click on it and find the episode, easy peasy. If you want that, you can go to rentiaclinic.com/podcast roadmap. We'll have it linked right here underneath the show notes where you're listening. And you can go ahead and get that free resource so that it makes it easy for you to navigate, because I know that it's really hard when someone has an established podcast. I am such a podcast fiend, listening to podcasts all day long. And when I find one that I love, but there's a lot that are out there, I am so lost. So I hope that you enjoy this free podcast roadmap. Again, the link to get to that is going to be rentiaclinic.com/podcast roadmap. I hope this is helpful, and let me know if you have any questions.